Math is a wonderful thing.
It's gonna be legendary. It's gonna be
Math is a really cool thing. Let's do some math, 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 math.
Boys and girls, we're going to talk about adding fractions. And first we're going to do it when they have the same denominator. Remember that the denominator is the bottom number. So in this one, the denominator is 8 and 8. Okay? When the denominators are the same, it's really easy to add and subtract fractions. You have to keep the same denominator. So since they're the same, 8, 8, we keep the 8 here. Now all we do is add the numerators. 1 plus 3 is 4, and we have 4 eighths. However, we know that we can take 4 eighths and reduce it. So if we have 4 eighths, we can divide the top and the bottom by 4 and end up with 1/2. That's pretty easy. Now let's move on to subtracting with the same denominator. Here we have a subtraction problem, 7 elevenths minus 5 elevenths. We have the same denominator, so again, we're just going to keep that denominator, 11, and now we're just going to subtract the numerators, the top numbers. 7 minus 5 is 2. Now 2 over 11 is in simplest form, so that's how we're going to leave it, right there, 2 elevenths. Pretty easy. Now we've got ourselves another problem here. We have 1/3 plus 1/2. And if we look, we can see that we don't have the same denominator. 2 is different than 3. So what we need to do now is a little bit trickier. Okay? We have to make sure that they have the same denominator. So we're going to have to get some equivalent fractions here. So we're going to get this all set up, kind of get it set up down here so we can just put them in there. Okay? What we have to do now is take the denominator of the first fraction, which is a 3. We're going to take that number, 3, and on the second fraction we're going to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by that number. So 1 times 3 and 2 times 3. We're going to transfer this answer down to the second fraction in our problem down here that we moved down here. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. Okay? So our second fraction is ready to go. Now, to get the first fraction ready to go, we're going to take the denominator of the second fraction, which is 2, and we're going to time the numerator and the denominator of the first fraction over here by that number 2. So times 2 and times 2. 1 times 2 is 2. That gives us our answer for the first fraction down here. And 3 times 2 is 6. Now if you look, we have two fractions with the same denominator, and it's easy. We can now add. Keep the same denominator, 6, and now we just add the numerators. 2 plus 3 is 5, and 5 6 cannot be simplified or reduced. So right there, 5 6 is our answer. Let's move on to some more subtraction. Here we are with some subtraction. We have 11 twelfths minus 1/3. But, like before, we don't have the same denominator, so we can't automatically start subtracting yet. So we'll draw this line. Let's get this set up again. Okay? It's going to look a little confusing with just a bunch of dashes here because the subtraction sign looks like the your bar there for your fraction. Now again, we take the denominator of the first fraction, and we're going to take that number, which is 12, and multiply the numerator and the denominator of the second fraction by it. So 1 times 12 and 3 times 12. We're going to take these numbers now and put them down as the second fraction underneath. So 1 times 12 is 12, and 3 times 12 is 36. Okay, so we have our second fraction ready to go. Now we have our first fraction ready to go. We want to take the denominator of the second fraction up at the top, denominator which is 3, take that number and multiply the top, the numerator, and the denominator of the first fraction by it. 11 times 3 is 33. 12 times 3 is 36. Okay. Now we can subtract. Okay. We have the same denominator, so we know that the denominator is going to stay the same, 36. And we subtract up top, 33 minus 12. And 33 minus 12 is what? 33 minus 12 is 20, and it's not working. Here we go. 21. Okay. This, however, can be reduced. So 21 over 36, let's divide it by 3. Divided by 3. 21 divided by 3 is 7. 36 divided by 3 is 12. And that's our final answer. 7/12. It's not as hard as it looks. We're going to do one more, however. Here we have 2/3 plus 5/6. And we can't add these because they don't have the same denominator. So the first thing we're going to do is fix that. So let's get this set up here with our two fractions, how we're going to change them. Plus, and a fraction equals this one. So again, we take the denominator of the first fraction, take that number, which is 3, and multiply it by the numerator and denominator of the second fraction. So 5 times 3 and 6 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15, so that's going to be our new numerator. 15, 6 times 3 is 18, our new denominator. Now we take the denominator of the second fraction and multiply it by the numerator and denominator of the first. So times 3, that's not right, times 6 and times 6. So our new numerator is 2 times 6, which equals 12. And then our new denominator is 3 times 6, which equals 18. Now, if you look, we have the same denominators, and we can add. Keep the same denominator, 18, and we need to now add the tops. 12 plus 15 is 27. Okay. Now, this is an improper fraction because the numerator is bigger than the denominator. Okay. We are going to leave all of our fractions like this in improper form. We're not going to change them into mixed numbers. However, we can still reduce this. So if we take 27/18 and we divide the numerator by 9 and we divide the denominator by 9, we have 27 divided by 9 is 3 and 18 divided by 9 is 2. And there we go with our answer. 3/2 or 3/2. Okay, and we'll leave it like that. Okay, I know this is difficult. We'll get it. Thank you.